and co-hosting with me, such a pleasure always having Ms. Nicole Pesky, our marketing manager.
Hey, I am so happy to be here.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
I actually
love it.
Have to head out in about 10 minutes, and so Amber Jensen, the operations manager at United Way, is going to be filling in because I'm going over to the Y.
The Y, the new Y. That's funny. The Y is coming here, and then you're going to the Y.
Oh, are they really?
Well, Lachey's coming here.
Yeah, we're swapping. Yeah, it's the Wellness Center is having their ribbon cutting. And so Dr. Lambrecht is going to be speaking, Bill Bauman, and so it's going to be a big old party. And I want to show my support because, well, number one, I'm on the Chamber Ambassador Committee.
Right.
So I need to be there.
Right.
But secondly, because the Y, I mean, they do such incredible things. They're an incredible partner with us, as is Sanford, in our community, and really making sure that we're taking care of the community together.
Yeah, they do such a great job at meeting needs, don't they? I'm excited about that Family Wellness Center. I think that's going to be great for our community.
Yeah, and we do have Lachey Michaels coming on. She is the Life Center Director, so she'll be here shortly.
Yeah, and I know their staff is super busy today, so
how nice.
Yeah, everybody's spread out everywhere.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the United Way campaign funds some of the YMCA programs 110%.
Right.
Not even 100%. So, for example, we started a Parkinson's program at the Y. They do all the work. We raise the money, and it works out really, really well. I mean, it helps to slow down the progression of the symptoms of Parkinson's.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So we do need your dollars to come to the United Way to support that important program. And then the Livestrong program. We have Craig, who has just been on the speakers bureau for United Way and been on the trail for us, going around to different companies and telling his story of how before he got involved in Livestrong, which is 100% funded by United Way, at the YMCA, he didn't feel like getting out of bed after his cancer treatments. He said he was so fatigued, lost all of his muscle mass, and now he's riding his bike 8 miles with his wife. Well, maybe not today.
Yeah, what was his goal? It was like he wants to do like a 50-mile ride.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's one of those things where you don't even understand, unless you have a loved one that's either going through it or gone through it, how much that treatment just affects your energy level. And, you know, a lot of us maybe don't understand what it's like to seriously not feel like we can't get out of bed in the morning, but it's real.
There are so many things that I think people take for granted. And I was just talking I had a business meeting right before the radio show, and we were talking about this couple not being able to get pregnant and how incredibly heartbreaking that is for couples, but also how expensive it is, even adoption, and you've adopted, Nicole, so you know the financial burden. But even to adopt, you know, he was saying, and so I can't quote this for sure, but he was saying that Lutheran Social Services only did 7 adoptions last year, and Catholic Charities only 15 in the whole state.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
I don't know if that's 100% accurate. I'm just telling you what I just heard 15 minutes ago. And so for them to adopt, it's going to cost about at least $12,000, and that's just if they do it locally.
Oh my goodness! I feel like I want to double check up on that statistic because that's
so
horrible.
Low.
If
it's
that's
so sad.
True, it is. Yeah. Well, and actually, domestic adoptions can cost even up to $40,000.
It's unbelievable. Domestic or international?
Domestic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, his chances would be higher, you know, if they went out of state. But, you know, I guess what I'm getting at is there are so many people listening right now who have wonderful, healthy, vibrant families. They live in a great community. And yet there's kids in our community that are being raised in families that aren't able to take care of them. And so we all need to pitch in and band together and make sure that kids aren't going hungry. Make sure kids get the education they need. Make sure kids, you know, are getting the mentors and the love and the stability. And I think we all can do that, and we can all do it through United Way. So we really need everyone's help. I mean, it's literally $5 for a backpack full of food through United Way, $25 to support our Dolly Parton Imagination Library for a child to receive 12 books a year. We have to raise still, we're not done. We have a couple more weeks here, but we have to raise $55,000 to make sure our elderly in our community are cared for. So we need your help.
Right. Yeah. And every $5 really does make a difference. We're not talking about, huge amounts of money are nice too, right?
We do want huge amounts.
We do. Yeah. We'll take huge amounts of money. But really, I mean, this is like, I just think about my husband and I going out on the weekend. I mean, you can't eat out for less than $30. $30. That's like feeding 6 kids for a whole entire weekend. So can I give that up? Heck yes.
Heck yes. And you do. You're a hero for United Way, Nicole Pesky. Thank you so much. If people listening right now are compelled to be a part of the change, go online to msaunitedway.org. You can pick what you want your money to go towards. 100% will go to that specific organization if you so choose. Or you can just give it to the general needs in our community, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't sure what the biggest priorities are right now.
Yes. Well, like we're talking about with, and people not being aware if it doesn't necessarily directly affect them. You might not know what the biggest need is, but we sure do at United Way. We know what the biggest needs in the community are.
So if you don't know anything about United Way, or you're intrigued whatsoever by our cute little voices and our good humor and our smiles and our friendship, come to our annual luncheon. It's January 27th. It's a Friday. It's going to be at the Ramkota. It's 11:30 to 1. And you'll be really impressed, I promise you.
Oh yeah, and I think it's just motivating, when you get together and talk about all of the people that have been impacted over the past year. I mean, over 40,000 people last year touched by all the various efforts of United Way. So it's just great to get together and celebrate that and recognize that, but then also realize that, we've come a long way, but we have a long ways left to go in meeting our community's biggest challenges. So super fun and great event.
Hey, my mom just texted me. She said, I am tuned in. Hi, Mom.
Oh, can always count on your mom.
Yeah, we definitely have 2 listeners online. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for listening in Fredonia, New York. I went to the governor's inauguration. It was fascinating, or his inaugural celebration, and we had to put where we were from. And so I put Fredonia.
Oh.
And then people thought I was from Fredonia, North Dakota. So it was a good conversation starter.
You've had that happen before, though, haven't you?
I have. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I can pretend to be from here.
She's a good old local gal.
Yeah. I'm taking horseback riding lessons. So, so Nicole, you're also wrapping up some stats for our annual report, and things are looking like we've accomplished a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
In Bismarck-Mandan and the greater community this last year.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I was just working on it the other day and had to yell out into the hallway for any of the staff that could hear that I'm just filled with such pride when we do it, because really, I mean, we have accomplished a ton in the last year. So another reason to come to the annual meeting. You get to see the annual report and everything that's happened. But, we absolutely could not do any of that without the help of our supporters and the volunteers and everybody that gets involved. So
okay, we're going to be back in just a couple minutes. You're going to hear from Lachey Michaels, the YMCA Life Center Director. Go online right now, msaunitedway.org, and give.
Welcome back to United Way's Community Talk on Super Talk 1270. I was co-host. Now I'm still co-hosting. Nicole Pesky, marketing manager at United Way. And now with me is Amber Ziska, who is our operations manager.
Good morning, everyone. You can tell we are getting down to the wire of campaign season. We have people just running all over in our office and stepping up where we need it. So if you need a 15-minute break to get to another meeting, we just make it work.
We really do our best to hold it together.
That's right.
Try not to go crazy in the process, but we have a whole lot of fun.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, we're like right at the tail end here of campaign season. We got like 3 weeks left. We do have quite a bit left to come up with. So including some of our programs like the United Way Backpack program, super popular. We're still looking for nearly $5,000 to be able to cover that program into for all of 2017. So like we were talking about before the break, every $5 really does make a huge difference. And so go to MSA United Way to make that happen.
Yeah, and those funds that you give to United Way go to such incredible agencies that we work with. We're pretty blessed to get to work with great agencies like the Y. And we have Lachey Michaels in from the YMCA joining us today. How are you, Lachey?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We are trying to stay warm.
That's right. That's right.
I think it blew me in today. It was really windy, so
Yeah.
I don't like this. I'm ready for winter to be over.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, you know, this kind of time of the year, I feel like it always comes up. We're talking today on Community Talk about a fresh start.
Absolutely.
I think that with January comes a lot of New Year's resolutions and a lot of sort of ideas about how you want to get
fresh
healthy.
year, right? Everyone has that mindset with the new year ringing in. They can start their new year out right. Although you can start your new year right out no matter any time of the year. So it seems like for some reason that magic 2017 fresh off the bat, that's what everybody wants to start with. So, which is okay.
Well, and especially
Absolutely.
with all the snow you've been getting, you've
Stir
been
crazy
cooped up in your
Yeah.
house,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
got to get out to the Y. And so, what are your hours there at the Y?
So Monday through Friday, we are open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And these hours will also be consistent with family wellness. Saturdays, we are open from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So lots of times for you guys to choose from.
Yeah, so you mentioned the Family Wellness Center. We're super excited about that.
Very excited.
And so if you have a membership at the Y in Bismarck, you can now use a Family Wellness Center, right?
Yes, it's a dual membership, so you get the best of both worlds. The Family Wellness has going to be opening here next Tuesday. We're so excited. So January 17th, the doors will open. We'll be kind of having a little bit of a sneak peek. So those of you in the community that want to come and check it out and are currently a member, from 11 to 2, we'll be offering some tours on this Thursday, January 12th, and from 4 to 7. So please come check it out. I mean, it's beautiful in there. It's awesome. So
Well, and then, of course, we have the chamber mixer there tonight, so we'll be
yes,
there.
I
for
will
the
be there with you guys.
Oh,
so
yay.
I'll be running the
Very, very
tours.
fun. Very, very fun.
Yeah.
All right, so talking about starting out as a new healthy year. So, I mean, in your impression, what do you feel like that looks like for people? Or
You know, we kind of talked a little bit on break about what healthy means. And, you know, a lot of times I feel like in this day and age, everyone just assumes and judges people before they get a chance to actually realize we have no clue what is actually happening with that individual. So what I always practice and really preach to my trainers also is healthy to anyone can be maybe just reaching down to be able to tie their shoes. I mean, some people, you know, might want to do bodybuilding contests. Everyone's goals are different. So, you know, my way of approach for any of my clients, anybody that comes in, any members, is teach them to go through a healthy lifestyle, pain-free, is what our main focus on. Just before I left to come here, I had a member come up and say, hey, that tip you gave me the other day, he's like, I have not had to ice my knees or do any of this. He's like, I've been doing it all wrong for so many years. So that's the nice thing about being in a facility where people can check you out and look at things.
So what do you say? You know, you mentioned the individual that their health goal may just be able to tie their shoes or to put their socks on. And they may be a little timid to go to such a big facility and be there with people that have been working out for years.
Absolutely.
So what do you do and what do you say to those individuals to get them to have the courage to come to the Y?
A lot of the times, you know, we hear, oh, well, there's already members established. We're afraid to go in there. You know, I've heard a lot with family wellness is everybody saying, oh, it's a nice fresh start. I'll be the first to tell you our members are beyond welcoming. The thing that I need to talk to you guys is we're not just a gym, we're a community. We're here for the community. The gym itself does so much more. It's just more than a gym and a swim. You know, you come in, you meet people, you gain friends, you gain those relationships. We offer tours to come in and show you why we're more than just that. We just don't want to show you the building and show you what we offer. We want to explain to you what we're here for, and there's always staff available to help you. I know a big common one is we have a lot of members come in and new people come in and they're like, okay, these look like contraptions that look from back in medieval times. How do I use these? And, you know, I know at the Y and at Family Wellness, we're running the same program. So jointly, they're going to be same across the board. We offer that Commit to Be Fit program. It's a 12-week free program for members to come in, and you're guided through 12 weeks of training one-on-one with a program designed for you. So you've got some give for you. So you come in, and you're not having to think, okay, what am I supposed to be lifting today? it's right there in front of you. And I think that's what really helps a lot of people fresh off the bat. They're not having to pick and choose with what they have.
And I think it's nice, what you mentioned, you are a community. You're not, there's so much more that the Y and United Way has been blessed to get some of that. You've done food drives for the United Way backpack program.
Yeah.
You've had a YMCA, not just staff, but individuals that come to the Y that have volunteered for the United Way Day of Caring. And so you guys volunteer as a group, and it's not just staff members, it's people maybe retired or people that are working that maybe don't have that company to volunteer with. You guys are providing those opportunities for those members.
Yes, we've got a new volunteer program. It's called Togetherhood that we're reaching out to the community, coming up with community projects. I wish, didn't even cross my mind, I've got about 30 plus pounds of food to bring over from our Candy Cane Crunch and Turkey Burn Boot Camp for you guys for the backpack program that our members donated to coincide with the boot camp. So, we try to do more than just be there just for that individual. We want to be here for the community. And I think that reflects upon many of the programs we offer, such as the Livestrong and the Parkinson's, and the list goes on. I can talk forever about those.
That's a good point, because I feel like at first glance you look at the Y and you think of it as a workout. The gym and swim, I love that. That's funny.
Yeah. I was going to say tan and swim and gym, but we don't have tanning there. So I think it would kind of be a downfall with our Livestrong program that we offer.
Yeah, but really it's just so much more than that when you really get into it. And treat it like the community that it is. You see that there's all kinds of these extra programs, such as, I think we talked earlier about the Livestrong program and about the Parkinson's programs. And I think you guys, the Livestrong program, you have one coming up, but you shared some good news. Maybe not good news for our listeners, but
it's probably not the greatest news for listeners, but it's great to hear that this program has grown. We started this program about 4 years ago, and Livestrong has just been such a huge impact for our community. And the premises of this is to help cancer survivors and anybody dealing with cancer. We have a 12-week program that's free for that individual, free for also the family members coming in and joining in. The nice thing about it is they meet twice a week with trained staff. So staff that is trained in Livestrong exercises that might deal with somebody that maybe might have had a mastectomy, the stuff that we might not think of, but those trainers are specialized and know how to do the lifts and stuff. So, little sad thing is it is full. It's been awesome. So our morning session is full right now, and that starts January 17th through the April 6th. But we have an upcoming session, so if you'd like to think about joining, we would love for you to contact Jena Wellness, and she's currently right now located at Family Wellness. So stay up to date, follow their website, and if you have somebody in your life that is affected by cancer, consider making a donation on behalf of them at MSA United Way, and we'll keep great programs like that going. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Super Talk 1270.
Right now, 5 above.
Live news headlines and weather together. Weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk on Super Talk 1270. You're listening to Nicole Pesky, Marketing Manager at United Way, and Amber Ziska, our Operations Manager. Jena decided to take a chance and let us
host.
Yeah. So
Bet she's regretting it if she's listening on her way to meeting.
That's right. No, we'll only say good things.
That's right.
So busy time around United Way right now. Oh my goodness. We are just running, trying to meet our $2.6 million goal. And we still have work left to do, don't we, Amber?
We do. And, we were just talking about all the snow we've been getting, now breaking records and still getting some last night. I'm wondering if it's going to stop. But the one program, we really thought about during the holidays was the senior meals, because we have so many seniors that are still homebound, and we need to make sure that they're still having access to those home delivered meals. And so one of our big campaign and our pushes is to help raise money to help fund it. And so we still have $54,000 to help fund our senior meals program in both Bismarck, actually Burley and Morton counties they cover. And so if you're out there and you're willing and able, $5, $10 to help support the senior meals program, anything can help to help us reach that goal.
Yeah, it's huge. When we did some work and visiting with some of the seniors that are on the program, and this one particular gentleman that I'm thinking of, he talked about how that some days that meal is the only other human that he sees for the entire day. So it's just about so much more than a meal. It's about that human contact and somebody just ask you how your day is going. So yeah, support the program. Super huge. We have some work left to do to get to our goal, but we know that we can do it, and we have to do it because we have a lot of great programs that we need to support. So such as we have with us today, Russ Reel who's a principal at Simile, who runs a program called Restorative Justice. We're talking about sort of a fresh start. Last segment we talked with YMCA about the New Year's resolutions, but I think your program also really has to do a lot with having a fresh start. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning. Our program, our Restorative Justice, we're in our 6th or 7th year of implementing Restorative Justice, and what it has done for our school is it's really helped in really setting a stage for some climate and culture things in our building. As many of us know, there aren't a lot of us who would love to just go back to our middle school years. It's a tough time for kids, that early adolescent growth period, and they get themselves maybe into some situations that are hard to walk back sometimes. And our job as adults is to support them, but also help them in terms of coming up with strategies and things to better themselves and of course better their schools. And in our school district, we are in our 2nd year of having our multi-tiered systems of support on the behavior side of things, and the restorative justice is a very integral part of that. I often tell folks that without that, there aren't a lot of other places for these kids to go and to work through things and talk through things to see how their actions affect others. And what we have found is by students going through that process, taking the time to do it right, we have really been able to not just help students who may find themselves on the victim side of things, but also those students who maybe would like to walk some of their actions back feel much better about themselves in terms of growth. And it's all about growth, social emotional growth, academic growth, and it's hard to do the academics if some of those social emotional pieces are getting in the way.
Like sometimes a kid just makes a bad choice and they almost need a do-over. So give us an example of a situation that a student would be in. And
one of the things that we see probably more now in our schools than years past is some of the inappropriate bullying types of things that you might see over social media, or just simply saying something that you may not always have the courage to say face to face. So it's kind of easier to do it electronically, but once it's out there, it's out there. And how do I get that back? And so it's a matter of then bringing the parties involved together and to work through that. This is how it affected me. This is how it affected my friends, my family. Sometimes it goes very deep, and so that's just one example. Anything from that, or disrespect, maybe. On equipment or property or anything like that, where students may sometimes, get away from themselves a bit, where we have to, help them learn that there's consequences, and we just really believe that there is so much work to be done in terms of educating our community and our youth, especially on some of the behaviors, the mental health and such. And we feel this is just a good way for students to do some self-reflecting and some self-analysis.
And we've heard from we do the United Way backpack program, and sometimes people act out because they're hungry. And so we've heard that story mostly in the middle school or high school, where, a kid may act out and come to find out it's because they don't have food at home or what resources. You don't know what's going on at home. And I think this program is kind of, you mentioned not just academically, but socially, what is going on at home.
Absolutely. Students, if they're hungry, they might do some things differently, for different reasons than students who maybe aren't. So it gives us an opportunity to really kind of get to some of those core issues that kids are living with, that they're coming to school with, and then that they're picking up when they get back home. And we feel that we have to support those students. And, and we also, I've done some work with the Juvenile Justice Advisory Group for the state of North Dakota as well. And, we are real interested in the fact, too, that, we want to make sure that we're taking care of things best we can in our schools rather than introducing them into the courts and such at an early age, because we have also been real clear on the data that once kids are introduced to the court system, they are probably more likely to become adult offenders as well. So we just feel that it's a good program. We're seeing some growth in some of our other schools with it as well, and it does it the right way. And the other nice thing is, with the support of the United Way, they are in our building. They provide staff to help with this, and it's nice to kind of have that neutral third party,
right.
to hear and to help talk through it with school and kids and community.
And just being on the front end, like you said, being preventative. And I think that's what a lot of the United Way programs are, that we're focusing on. How can we wrap ourselves around that child and make sure we end that cycle of whatever it may be, poverty, abuse, violence within that student, and really help build them up so that they can be successful, especially as they move into high school and maybe become a little bit more independent. And so as this child, you may recognize, somebody did post something on Facebook. What resources then, besides that case manager that is funded by United Way, and what other resources are available to that child?
Yeah, whether it's interventions on the behavior side, it really all comes down to relationships. Relationships with teachers, with coaches, with administrators, with custodial staff, support staff, and we really stress in our building to make sure that we hire people that are comfortable in that, and people that you want kids. That kids want to be around, and role models who are folks that we want our kids to be like. And so we know that it takes a lot of people, but sometimes it's asking that one more question, spending that extra 30 seconds with a student, and really making a difference. So again, relationships, connections, that is huge. And every one of our kids needs to have a voice. And students, as we grow in our district, one might think that becomes more difficult, but I don't think it has to be that way. We still have to allow students to have a voice and to be heard. We don't always have to agree with that voice, and it sometimes takes some pause on our part as adults to figure out what are you actually saying? Where are you actually going here? But it's great work. It's super exciting work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Russ. I think just on behalf of myself as a parent who's going to have a child one day that ends up in middle school, I just feel like we're so blessed here to have an education system that is really working on these. It sounds like it's almost a paradigm shift about how you treat kids.
It is, and it's the right kind of work. It's not always easy work, and it's not quick work, but it really is the right work. And whether we're talking about the restorative justice piece or academics or whatever in our schools, I often remind our parents and our staff that we're training kids, we're educating kids for jobs that don't even exist yet. Right. So our practices have to be fluid. We have to be changing. We have to be proactive, and that's been a real big push in our schools.
Yeah, I think about now having to have a class on social media etiquette. Whoever would have thought, as we were growing up, that would be something that the schools. You have to be proactive and you have to be shifting with the times.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, so as we're, reaching, you mentioned during break, getting people ready for high school already and what's going on in the middle school world.
Yeah, great questions. Yeah, we this is a real busy time of year for us. Not just the fact that we're coming off the holidays, but we are ending one semester and starting a new semester as well. We're out registering students for next year, so we're transitioning fifth graders coming into our schools, into our middle schools. We are registering eighth graders going into our high schools, and transitions are huge.
There's a lot of freaked out moms out
there
there
are
right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because often our transitions are probably more for our parents as much as they are our students. So we want them to know and really work on that. And then we're also out trying to educate our community with some of our space needs with our upcoming bond coming up March 7th. So we really we want to make sure that we can deal with the growth. We can give kids that same valuable education skill set that we've always been able to do.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Russ, for joining us. We really appreciate it. You know what? Go online and help us reach our goal and support these programs. MSAUnitedWay.org.
Currently 4 above.
Live news headlines and weather together. Weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to United Way's Community Talk on Super Talk 1270. Thank you to Town Square Media and Jim Walsh. Happy birthday, Jim. Woohoo! For allowing us to do this every other Tuesday. If you want to join the conversation, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/MSA United Way. UWay. I am Amber Rosiska from United Way, your co-host, joined by Nicole Pesky, our marketing manager.
Yeah. I was just wondering if Jenna's parents still listen, even if she's not on.
Oh, yes. Hi, Barbara, if you're listening.
Yes. Hopefully they stay with us.
That's right. We don't want to lose our number one listener.
Yeah, our number one fans, right? That's awesome.
Well, at the last segment, we were talking about the growth in our community and what it's like to be in middle school and how we can support a child, and how a lot of the United Way programs that we're funding and trying to raise money for is really about preventative care. I think this afternoon we're going to be doing an Adoptive classroom training, and so our Women United group is adopting Jeanette Myrie, and we're going to be going in and volunteering there every other week, reading with kids, and just what an impact being that mentor and doing little things like saying hi when you see somebody in the grocery store or you see them walking in the halls, and not forgetting that youth in our community really need to be lifted and feel valued. We know that from a survey that we do that 35% of kids in our community feel they have a positive adult role model. And so it's putting those positive adults in front of these students to really help make them successful. And so as we're seeing a lot of growth, we just need more people to get involved, more people to be that positive impact for these students. And we are joined with Russ, the principal at Simley, and talk to us a little bit about the growth that we're going to be seeing here in Bismarck.
Okay, great. We have been working with RSP, and they are a demographer who kind of help work with communities. They've worked in the western part of the state to talk about growth, and their data has been very spot on for us. And so when we look at our data and such as we're moving forward with our growth in our school district, right now our estimations are that within 5 years we'll have an additional 1,900 students than we have today. And to put that in context, that's the size of Bismarck High and Wilmore combined. So it's a great challenge to have for our community, because the diversity, the growth is incredible. For example, right now in our district, I believe we have over 30 different languages being spoken in our schools. That's a diversity that we didn't see in this part of the country 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. We are also so with that, as I mentioned earlier, we have our upcoming, a bond, and we really want to just educate folks in terms of what that could look like and some of the needs, and really we are out there just trying to put the right information out. We also have information on the BPS website as well for folks to look at, but just some of the things to talk briefly. For example, the 3 middle schools all have different expansion needs. We need more room for our physical education, for after-school activities, those types of things, so kids are home at a reasonable time. Our two high schools, Bismarck High School and Century, both have some needs. Century has some space needs and some reconfiguration needs. Bismarck High, an auditorium, and some work with their athletic facilities as well. So, it's as our estimations get closer to 1,000 fifth graders coming into our middle schools each year, divided by 3, we're going to get much closer to that 400 students per grade level 2 or 3 years out. And when you do the math, that really gets our middle schools in that 1,200 range. So we want to have capacity for that, as well as our high schools then with 4 grades at that 1,600 level down the road. So we know, I think our buildings are all doing a very good job in a very cost-effective way of handling that growth. But as it comes, we want to make sure that we still are able to do the things we need to do. Students taking the right types of classes and offerings and spaces as needed. And we really want to make sure we have that flexibility to make sure that we are giving those kids a 21st century learning opportunity.
I was talking to Lisa Cadlack at Dorothy Moses a couple months ago and talking about, the diversity within the schools. I know they had a family, I can't remember what country they came from, and so they get on the bus and get to Dorothy Moses, and then from Dorothy Moses they get on another bus, and I think they go to Hughes to work with people that can help them with the language barrier. And so things that we never really had to think about, and with this growth and brings different diversity to our community, which is great for those students to provide more cultural opportunities. But what a different way of having to operate and be able to provide students so they can be successful.
Absolutely, and it doesn't just affect school-age families either. When you talk to folks in the medical field as well, when they're trying to attract doctors and stuff to Bismarck, one of the first things they look at is what are the schools like, and so I think that's an important thing to remember because as our population and folks retire and move to Bismarck, I mean there's things for all of us that we get out of this growth and having that type of learning opportunity for our kids and I would say that the Bismarck schools are second to none in terms of the kind of instruction, the kind of education our kids leave with, whether making them, college career ready, choice ready when they're done with our schools.
Yeah, I bet it is such a challenge to try to stay ahead of the game a little bit.
It is a challenge, but it's a good challenge because I look at us as adults, teachers, administrators, parents. We need to be the lead learners, and I don't think that's ever been more true than it is today. Much different than maybe when I was in middle school or high school as well. So as lead learners and as we're willing to make those changes and those swings in education, we need to make sure that we give kids the opportunity to have that head start.
And so with some of these changes, especially at the high school level, I'm thinking about legacy and how so high tech that building is, the way that they teach, the way that they communicate to the kids is just so different. And so with that, will some of that also transition over to BHS and Century?
Absolutely. In fact, I know one of the needs at the Bismarck High piece with the auditorium is they'd like to do some of that large group instruction that they're doing at Legacy. I believe we're making some nice gains in our Bismarck High and Century in terms of availability of technology and some of the similar initiatives that you're seeing at Legacy. So, we are sure doing that. At the middle levels, we want to make sure they're ready so they don't have to learn those skills in 9th grade, that they're coming equipped. For example, at our 3 middle schools, students have a strand of technology courses. So, for example, our 6th graders come in with digital literacy. All of our 6th graders take a semester of digital literacy, where we talk about some of those online safety things and some of the, how to use technology in a productive way, responsible use of your cell phone, those things. We also have a communications class in 7th grade and then communications and collaboration in 8th grade to hopefully have a tiered approach. So when students do hit that high school level, they're ready to go, and teachers don't have to waste a lot of time with the how. They can focus more on the what.
Wow. I didn't take digital literacy.
It's a great class.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It is.
We should probably all take
I
it.
think there are probably a lot of adults that should take that.
Agreed.
So give us again, just one more time, the information about the bond issue. People can find out specifics on the website.
Specifics on the Bismarck Public School website. If you go to their homepage, on the left side, there's a green icon that says bond, and there's some great information, great statistics for you to share. And then, of course, the vote itself is coming up in March 7th, and that will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in all of our Bismarck Public School buildings and schools.
Wow. And you said that so far the reception's been pretty good about it.
Yeah, it has been. It's one thing I love about Bismarck. Bismarck, whether it's United Way and what the community needs or space or whatever, our community, I'm very thankful, has always valued education and really supported education. And so far the feedback we've gotten has been very positive. And it's a good time because we have some other bonds that are going to be retired. So by retiring and replacing, I think the impacts that homeowners would see are going to be very, very minute. And with that, I would, that information again is on the website as well, so you can just even check if you have a $300,000 home, how that might affect you. And I think you'd be surprised at what we're going to be able to get for that. So I think it's just a matter of educating the public and educating ourselves and being good consumers.
Well, thank you so much, Russ, for joining us and for all the work that you do, not just as the principal of Simile, but with the Restorative Justice Program. Help us reach our goal to 2.6. We still need your help. Support programs like the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So once these kids get to school, they are successful. We're still needing 15,000. But if not, join us for the annual meeting, January 27th from 11:30 to 1. Give until that day to help us reach our goal. Any dollar amount, $5, $10 will help. You can go to msaunitedway.org to contribute, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to United Way's Community Talk.